missed something. Okay, why?
Only kicked him in the balls. Damn.
Oh, well, there we go. Shoot, we are absolutely. I was.
It's live. Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
And these bumps on my face. I look.
Yeah, I was looking at the TV.
So I'm assuming Jinder Mahal is just whooping his ass.
Well,
this is new to me, so I'm assuming that's the viewers. Okay, and I guess how do we see what people comment? Okay, I don't know. This is all new to me. This is it. Okay, cool. All right, so let's actually talk about some good shit here. So this is your boy Retro and Renegade back with some more WWE news as we're watching the last little bit of SmackDown Live here.
Forgive me, I am a bit under the weather.
That's fine. Monday Night Raw is usually under the weather most nights. But let's talk about some things of importance here. I want to talk about let's just run down. I want to talk about Big Cass turning heel on Enzo Amore. I want to talk about the fight Samoa Joe versus Brock Lesnar. What did you want to talk about?
Well, we could talk about what we hope to see in 2K18. Well, at least what I hope to see in 2K18. Well, the controversy surrounding the women's Money in the Bank ladder match and the male Money in the Bank ladder match.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Money in the Bank.
Okay.
So things of importance that we saw in that pay-per-view. We saw Baron Corbin win the Money in the Bank. We saw in the women's Money in the Bank, we saw a male superstar win the Money in the Bank in a women's Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
And what was your reaction about that?
Okay, so that was the first match on the card. So as you all know, I picked Carmella to be the next heel champion.
And you were absolutely right.
Yeah, so I had a feeling that that she was probably going to be the one to win this match. But did I expect James Ellsworth to be the catalyst for her winning the Money in the Bank ladder match? No, I didn't. Honestly, what I would like to see going forward is I want to see James Ellsworth versus Becky Lynch. I know that sounds ridiculous.
Wait, hold on. That caught me off guard. James Ellsworth versus Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is two women fighting, might as well say.
I mean, like Becky Lynch, she has been proposing on social media to have intergender matches again. So there's a good opponent for her right there. Now
she would actually beat James Ellsworth.
Yeah. Now since we are live and it's obviously past Money in the Bank and SmackDown just went off, we can say what the fallout was because of that result.
Well, what did we learn from what did we learn from James Ellsworth winning the women's Money in the Bank?
Well, he basically ruined the match.
He did.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could have predicted that be the outcome of that match. And considering the fact that he was the only one that actually touched the briefcase and actually took it down.
That's what I'm saying.
And he's not even in the match.
Yeah, like he was the only one that actually, because usually like during ladder matches, you'll have like those teaser moments where, somebody will be touching, what's hanging above the ring.
Mm-hmm.
But he was the only one that touched it. So it's like, I feel like, they hyped up this match as being, as history making, and I was actually looking forward to this match. And then he just comes in and ruins it. And I'm like, are you kidding?
Exactly. It was a fucked up finish. But let's be honest. Did you really expect anyone else in that match besides Carmella to win?
Let's see. Not really. Actually, like the way they are probably going to go creatively, I picked Carmella to win that match, not anyone else.
Right.
If anybody else were to win that match, I probably would have picked
Becky Lynch. Right. I actually had picked Natalya I knew it wasn't gonna be Charlotte or Becky.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't gonna be Charlotte.
I thought it was gonna be one of the heels. I knew Tamina wasn't gonna win it.
Yeah,
I thought it was gonna be, I thought me Natalia or Becky, but mainly a heel. But as much as I didn't want to admit Carmella, as trash as she is,
but yeah.
But going forward, what do you see being the women's match on the SmackDown side for SummerSlam?
Well, they gotta go through Battleground first. So.
Oh, there's one more pay-per-view?
Yeah, they gotta go through Battleground.
Oh shit! I thought it was Summer. You're right.
Yeah,
July pay-per-view. Battle.
So, like what I predict that will happen is
they didn't even talk about Battleground tonight, did they?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Well, because they still got. Oh man.
Nothing else to build for except Battleground.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yes. So what I expect. So next week they're having a Money in the Bank ladder match redo. I don't know what's going to happen, but I expect Carmella to win again on her own. And then,
that's the key thing, on her own.
Yeah, now, I expect Carmella.
You think so?
Yeah, she might do it before SummerSlam, but
who will be the champion at that time though? Will it still be Naomi though? Is the question.
It'll still be Naomi.
Think so?
Yeah, because she really doesn't have any other challengers. Like honestly, I didn't see Lana pulling that off because.
Well, she should never got a title shot to begin with.
Because like.
And it showed.
She hasn't done anything in the ring.
And it showed.
Yeah,
that match was absolutely atrocious.
I was like, my God, like Naomi just started to become like a really good wrestler.
Yeah.
So I was just like Naomi's good, but she's not like Shawn Michaels good, where she can carry anybody.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
absolutely.
I would say if Lana became champion, she would definitely need some more work, but
a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about the men's Money in the Bank with Baron Corbin. The match was epic.
That match was epic.
I'm not gonna lie. Between the Fatal 5-Way that we went to and the Money in the Bank, I'm not sure what was a better match. They were both really good.
I would say, like, crowd investment wise, they were more invested in when we went to Extreme Rules.
Yeah, I agree.
Invested in that, but the spots in this match were better.
Talk about it.
Extreme Rules. Like, my favorite spot was like at the end when you had Shinsuke and AJ go at it for a little bit.
Yeah.
That was that. And then, like, before that, AJ was hanging on the fucking briefcase.
Yep.
And it fell down. I was like, oh.
Yep. I like the fact that they teased that AJ style Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
They didn't give us too much, but they gave us something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, I think a lot of people are expecting that match to happen. So
I think they're saving that for WrestleMania.
That would actually be the best thing to do. Not to rush that.
AJ Styles would probably be the heel. Probably. Most likely they would turn him back heel. But they're enjoying the fact that he's a face now. But I like the fact that they teased that Nakamura, AJ Styles, and they gave them their moment. Because if you notice in that match, they were the only two that was in the ring at that moment.
And I actually thought that Kevin Owens was going to sneak in there and win it.
I thought he was too.
I actually if you wanted to talk about a dark horse going to the match, I actually saw Baron Corbin as the dark horse.
I actually picked him too.
Yeah, I actually like low key. I picked him. I was just like, you know what? I feel like they're gonna sneak Baron Corbin in to win that match.
Mainly, yeah, SmackDown's a land opportunity. I knew they weren't going to give it to someone who was already established.
Yeah, I knew it wasn't going to Ziggler.
I knew it wasn't going to Ziggler. I said if anything, it would be Zayn or Corbin would have been my pick.
Yeah,
because I knew they weren't finished with that Kevin Owens AJ Styles feud, right. And so I knew they was going to pick up with that, and so Corbin was actually the perfect person to win it. My envision of what would actually happen would be Jinder Mahal, Cena comes back. Obviously, Jinder Mahal and Cena's probably going to have their title match. Yeah. Cena would eventually win the title, and then Baron Corbin would then Cena would pretty much put Corbin over, and cash it in. So I can see that. I can see that happening. The only problem I had with Baron Corbin is that they didn't make him go through the ranks. Like, they didn't have him win a Intercontinental title or a U.S. title.
Should have done. Like, that's what to this day, he should have beat Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania.
He should have beat Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose should not have won that match.
I honestly think that's where they messed up.
I agree.
Yeah, and because like his first match in WWE, he won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
that was his main accomplishment that he had.
So, you know, and I was just like, okay, like, and then coming into this year's WrestleMania, I was just like, okay, they're gonna have him probably win the Intercontinental Championship because I had a feeling they were gonna push him to world champion eventually.
I agree, but they should have made him go through the ranks. Have him win a U.S. championship. Just to experience gold. You don't make him win the WWE championship as his first title.
Right.
You got to push him through the ranks. But I do agree with the decision to have him win that, though. I think that's good. And I think he'll beat John Cena, honestly. I think that's what will happen.
Yeah.
I think that's what will happen. So I like the idea that they made Baron Corbin the winner. I like the idea that they didn't give to Shinsuke Nakamura just because he's popular.
Yeah.
I don't know who Shinsuke is going to feud with next. Maybe it is a Corbin, but I mean, Corbin has a title. But I'm not sure what they're going to do with Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't even think he should have even been in the match. Honestly, if he wasn't going to win it, don't put him in there.
You know, I didn't really think he was going to win it. You know, I would say from this point forward, I think he might feud with Baron just to like fill up, you know, just to have a match for Battleground. Yeah. Now, as far as SummerSlam is concerned, maybe KO if him and AJ aren't done yet. Maybe.
Well, I'm assuming KO would still have the title.
Well, if he doesn't drop it to AJ, yeah.
Well, I don't know. They got this gimmick as the new face of America. I feel like they're gonna have the title on Owens for a minute. You don't give him a gimmick of the new face of America and then have him lose the title.
Well, remember Chris Jericho will eventually be back. So
they may give it back to him when he comes back, but I see Kevin Owens having that title just about as long as he had the Universal title. Because you don't give nobody a new face of America gimmick if he doesn't have the United States title to be the face of America. You see what I'm saying?
Well, yeah, but then because after he loses that belt, he'll go on after the WWE title belt.
More than likely, it depends on who
become the face of the WWE.
But it depends. Yeah, it depends on who will have the title.
Yeah. Because
obviously he's a heel, so it would have to be a face. And if Baron Corbin is the one that's probably the next one that's going to win it after it goes through Cena and whatever, then there has to be a face. Baron Corbin's not a face, so I don't know when Kevin Owens will challenge for the title, but I think that he's going to actually have the title for a minute. He'll be AJ Styles, but it won't be, it'll be through some gimmicky way like last time where AJ got counted out. AJ's not going to get pinned by KO. They want to make both of them look strong, so we shall see. But I like the fact that Baron Corbin won the title.
Right.
So other news of importance. What else happened? Samoa Joe. Let's talk about that.
Okay, let's move on to Raw.
Let's talk about the promos that they've had. Samoa Joe versus Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the promo that happened the night before, the first night, where Samoa Joe put the coquina clutch in on Paul Heyman.
So yeah, right after Extreme Rules, he basically just said he wants everything Brock Lesnar has. So Paul Heyman came out, master of the mic as usual. They got choked out.
The promo was good though. I like what they did though. I like the fact that he attacked Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
That would then enrage the Beast to get pissed. Oh, you're gonna fuck with my agent? I'm showing up on Monday Night Raw and I'm gonna fuck you up.
Yep.
Then we get to that Monday night, and I thought it was just gonna be a stare down. I didn't think they was gonna actually let them brawl.
Oh no, they threw hands. I knew they was gonna go in. That was actually the best part of Raw.
Yeah,
so it was just them brawling. And, the whole locker room had to come out and break it up.
Yeah, but in your typical WWE fashion, I thought they were just gonna stare each other down, just get some SummerSlam build to it. I mean, Great Balls of Fire build, excuse me. But they actually let them brawl for a little bit.
Well, yeah, because Samoa Joe's legit. That's the thing about it. Like,
he's legit. He's a badass.
If he was facing anybody else, it probably would have been like a stare down. Like if it was Braun Strowman or somebody like that, it probably been a stare down and the one I'm left. But yeah, but Samoa Joe legit. That's why this is going to be a great match in my opinion.
But I like what they're doing with Samoa Joe. They're making him seem badass.
Yeah.
They made him throw the first punch. Yeah. Like, Brock, I ain't scared of you. You the Beast. I ain't scared of you.
Yeah, that's what
you
see everybody in the past. They just be like they a little hesitant, a little timid.
Oh, not Samoa Joe.
Not Samoa Joe.
Not Samoa Joe. I don't care if you the Beast. I'm gonna still fuck you up.
Right.
And I mean, honestly, the ratings have been so bad for Monday Night Raw that they had to do something to build the ratings back up. What better way to make Samoa Joe come out there, choke Paul Heyman out, then have the Beast return, and then have them have a little mini brawl just to get you hyped up for the pay-per-view. Now, that's the one match I definitely want to see on the pay-per-view.
Definitely. Like, the name of the pay-per-view is stupid, but I want to see
The name of the pay-per-view was garbage. Yeah. Great Balls of Fire. It's all trash, but I mean, I like what they did though.
That's true that Vince McMahon's losing his mind, but that's another story.
Vince McMahon's retarded.
Yeah, so in his senile ways. But moving on.
A bunch of random shit. So
this is what I expected to happen. I'm pretty sure a lot of fans expected this to happen because I said this. I was like, as popular as Enzo and Cass are as a team, the fact that they have not won a tag team championship belt proved that they were a failure, even though they were really, really popular.
Well, I think a little bit to do with WWE booking.
Yeah, it was the booking.
They made the New Day hold the title for so damn long that it really didn't give anybody else an opportunity.
And then at WrestleMania, the Hardy Boys came back. I understand the nostalgia act, getting another run at the belt. So, that kind of had something to do with it. But prior to that,
but it's poor booking. But I like what they did though. They made it because they even had me fooled. They made me think the whole time it was the Revival, because I'm thinking, okay, the Revival is legitimately the Revival that's doing this.
I honestly this is how my way of thinking. Like when it happened 2 times in a row, I thought it was Cass. But then, like when Cass got laid out, and then you saw
quote unquote,
and then the next week you saw him team with the Big Show. I was just like, could it have been the Big Show? This sounds like some dumb shit he'd be involved in. So
yeah, but his big ass is whatever.
I was just like, he probably gave him a WMD to the back of the head, just because. But then, I didn't expect this segment to close out Raw.
I didn't, but they made it intriguing though, and it made you want to watch to see who did it.
It actually did want to intrigue you, and the fact that when they showed the video evidence basically of like Cass faking the attack, and then Cass basically saying, "I did it,"
But see, this is the problem I had with WWE. Why can't they make all their storylines compelling like this one? It was simple though. Mm-hmm. They made an ambush attack. No one knew who did it. They dragged it out for a few weeks, and then we revealed who did it. Why can't their storylines be like that? It's simple, but it was good. Yeah. It made me watch to the end of the show. Once they told me that Kurt Angle was going to reveal the attacker of the Big Cass situation, Enzo, it made me want to watch. Mm-hmm. It was something simple, but they don't do their storylines like that.
No.
Why can't they make their storyline as compelling as this was? And the turnout was good because Big Cass promo turning heel was amazing.
Yeah, it was.
He literally said, "Fuck you, Enzo. You're a waste of time. Your mouth cashes checks. I mean, your mouth fucking
your mouth writes checks.
Your ass can't cash." Simple, but it was beautiful though. Mm-hmm. And then he finished it off with a big boot.
Yep. And the thing is, it's really poor creativity. It's poor booking. It's WWE.
But you see what I'm saying though? It's like they tease you every once in a while with a good storyline, but the rest of it's trash. But every once in a while they'll give you like Samoa Joe. This is compelling. But why can't they do this with everything else on the show? Raw would be more exciting to watch if they made storylines like that.
The thing is, I think like what Raw's thing is, it shouldn't be 3 hours. I think because they try to compile so much stuff.
And all of it's filler. And filler garbage.
3 hours. And I understood the point of them having a 3-hour show when they first did it was because of the overload of talent. Now that they have drafted again and made separate brands, I really don't see the point of having 3 hours because you're really repeat. If you look at Raw, it's the same formula. It will be an opening segment, and then that opening segment will lead to the main event.
And they do that every single week.
It's literally like you're trying to convince your audience to consume one storyline in a show twice.
And
it's just, and that's what pretty much throws off people, and that's why they don't want to watch it. Is because not only are you booking this poorly, It's because you're trying to force it to us. Like,
it's not authentic. It's like you just throwing it in our face. It never fails. Like, okay, the women come out. They all bicker. 6-woman tag match.
Yeah.
Every fucking time.
Yeah.
It's like it's so predictable. What
happened last night was a complete mess.
With what
all the women fighting like that. It was a complete and utter mess.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that Bailey got booed here in Baltimore.
She did. I didn't boo her, but I wanted to boo her.
I booed that bitch.
And then how bad she got beat at Extreme Rules and how fast she got beat, she deserves to get booed.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm saying though? The story they every once in a while they can make good. Like we can come up with better storylines than what they come up with. Mm-hmm. It's simple. Like the Big Cass. The reason why that storyline was so good is because honestly, even though you may have thought it was Big Cass, you didn't 100% know it was Big Cass.
It wasn't like 100 thing. It wasn't 100% sure because once he got attacked and then once you start of course the prime suspect was the Revival because they were backstage. Exactly. Then as soon as the Big Show got entered into it, you were just like, now wait a minute.
Yeah, and it makes you have these different options of who could have did it.
Yeah,
you don't know.
Like maybe it wasn't Cass, maybe it could have.
But that's what keeps you watching because you want to find out who the fuck did it. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? They don't make these storylines like that no more. Nope. I legitly was compelled to see who the fuck did it. Mm-hmm. In the back of my mind, I thought it was Big Cass too, but I was like, maybe it was maybe the Revival makes sense. Mm-hmm. But now that I see that they're turning Apollo Crews and Titus O'Neil into a face team, it makes sense now because you eliminate one team, but then you're adding another team to your tag team division. Although I'm not sure if Titus O'Neil and Apollo Crews should be a face team, but whatever.
Well, where it goes from here, concluding, we suspect Big Cass, Enzo and Cass are going to feud.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, they might go ahead in SummerSlam. They might go ahead one-on-one at Great Balls of Fire.
But I would only want to see that because of the fact of the relationship of the two had, because honestly the match would be trash. Because there's no way Enzo Amore is beating no Big Cass straight up. No. There's no fucking way. No fucking way.
On paper, you don't see that. I can see
you would have to win another way.
I can see Cass going on to be a good upper mid card heel.
Oh, he has good heel skills.
Yeah.
Just that promo alone.
That promo alone was the best one he did. I agree with Bleacher Report on that one. That was actually the best promo he ever cut.
Well, yeah, because most of the time he's cutting the same promo every week.
Yeah, because Enzo did all the talking, so
Enzo did also exactly. But now we got to see what he can do.
Now where does Enzo go from here? I couldn't really tell you.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Big Show did call him soft, but I'm assuming that Big Show will align with Enzo. Maybe they already kind of teased it a few times. I mean, he Big Cass, Big Show. I'm just saying they teased the idea.
And the thing is, it could happen. But yeah, that the heel turn closed out Raw.
It was good though.
It was good.
It's good, and it makes me want to watch what's going to happen going forward.
Yeah. The
problem is they don't make all their storylines that compelling, and it's simple booking. You add a little surprise factor in there. You make it seem like you make it unpredictable. You throw in other people who possibly could have did it, so that we don't know who did it, right. And it gets you, and you drag it on for a few episodes, and then you reveal who did it. Right. It's simple, and then you got a heel turn at the end. Who don't like heel turns? Heel turns are always the best when you have something built up for so long. Yeah. Enzo and Cass have been a tag team, and on the main roster for a year, and they were in a tag team in NXT. Mm-hmm. So if the payoff was good because they've always been cool. Yeah. And then you got this heel turn, and then you built it up, and then we found out no one actually attacked Big Cass. It was beautiful. The problem is they don't do this all the time. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And so that's the problem. And so I'm really curious to see what they're going to do going forward with that. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with the Hardys. I've been hearing that they're going to eventually turn the Hardys into singles competitors. But I'm curious to see what's going to happen because the Revival is coming back now. Who are they going to feud with? Are they going to? I mean, the Hardys don't have the titles no more. Mm-hmm. Cesaro and Sheamus are quote unquote the heel team. Mm-hmm. So who are the Revival going to feud with when they get back, and what's going to happen to the Hardys? Because I've been really hearing that they're going to try to make the Hardys singles competitors.
Well,
because they're not being broken, obviously. That pissed me off. Why is Matt Hardy not broken?
Yes, me.
I mean, I know you know the reason why, but from a WWE standpoint, you have the money. Just pay them niggas out.
Well,
you're gonna make more money on the back end with the merchandise.
From what I read, apparently, Matt Hardy's wife owns the broken rights. So
Matt Hardy's wife?
That's that was, apparently, from what I read, I'm not sure if it's fact, but apparently she owns the rights.
Where'd you get that? Where'd you read that from?
Yeah, where I read that. Apparently, she owns the rights to the broken gimmick. So
how does TNA say they own it then?
Apparently, that suit's been settled.
Oh, has it? So what? Really?
So the thing is, the only thing that prevents Matt Hardy and Jeff from going completely broken is WWE.
I don't get it. So
they own Matt Hardy's wife owns the broken gimmick.
So what?
By virtue, Matt Hardy owns those rights again, from what I read. So
okay. So why wouldn't WWE cash in?
I can't tell you.
I don't get it.
I couldn't tell you.
Like, what's holding them hostage from them being broken?
Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon's a dumbass. I'm gonna be honest with you. Let's talk about Vince McMahon. Let's talk about. I think this is just impromptu shit. Can we please talk about Vince McMahon?
Okay.
Who is now? To my knowledge, you know a lot more about this than I do. Okay. I'm assuming because he's the chairman, he has the final say on everything.
Yes.
So can you please explain how Raw has become so bad?
Well,
and all these segments he's signing off on. What is it? What is going? Can you tell me what's going through in his mind that Bailey segment, Alexa Bliss segment, he signed off on?
I could try.
Why is he so incompetent?
Well,
has he lost touch with this day and age?
Yes, that's one reason. That's actually one of the legit reasons. Because he believes in the same formula back all the way to the Hulk Hogan era. So basically
20-some years ago?
Yeah, so like the giant, the bad guy, the ultimate bad guy and the ultimate good guy, pretty much,
heel and face.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that though. There's nothing wrong with that. But I don't even cut you off, but you can see two heels with Samoa Joe and Brock Lesnar works.
Yeah.
So you don't necessarily have to have a face and a heel.
It's like when Vince McMahon, in Vince McMahon's WWE, it's always been the land of the giants. No, this is serious.
You're right. You're right.
It's always been.
He likes the big guys.
Yeah, it's always been like you got to be at least 6-something, 200 pounds of muscled up steroids, all that. It wasn't really until now where you got the AJ Styles of the world where they can actually become WWE champions.
Right.
Now, as far as a storyline perspective goes, I don't know who's booking this crap.
Well, I thought Kevin Dunn was overseeing that.
The thing is Raw's your flagship show. No one sees the point of this being 3 hours because nobody wants to sit through this anymore.
Well, why does NXT put on a better show than Monday Night Raw?
Oh, because Triple H has
exactly. So we can narrow down. It is Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn.
Okay. No, and what I read recently is apparently Triple H is not like how Vince
handles
essentially ruins the NXT call ups. So pretty much you see them you watch NXT and they do really good there, and then if they don't have that same momentum of success, it's crazy.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's just talk about a few examples of that. Look what they're doing to Bailey.
Bailey.
Enzo and Cass. Who else? Surprisingly, they haven't fucked up Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is as badass as he was in NXT.
Well, see, Samoa Joe has been doing this for years. You can't fuck up what's real.
You can't fuck up real, right? That's true.
That's why they can't fuck up AJ Styles. You can't fuck up what's real. They're not going to talk about TNA blatantly because, they're still in business. But
why the fuck is Gallows and Anderson so trash?
Gallows and Anderson, the thing is just those two are actually really, really good.
They're talented. They came from Japan. They're good.
It's the booking.
It's the booking.
It really is. It really comes down to who's booking it, who signs off on it, who has the final say. That's really all it is.
So,
like,
well, you said Vince McMahon doesn't like the prototypical style of the big guys, which would explain why the cruiserweights get 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain to me that ridiculous segment, the Noam Dar Alicia Fox on FaceTime a couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Exactly. You didn't even see it because it was trash. It was supposed to be Noam Dar versus Cedric Alexander. And the whole time that Noam Dar was coming to the ring, Alicia Fox was on FaceTime, like pretty much saying, "Don't you hang up on me, don't let me go." On the bell, he put the phone down for literally 2 seconds, and Alexander did his finish move, 1, 2, 3. And she was on FaceTime the entire fucking time. What kind of garbage was you didn't see that?
I didn't see
Oh man. Oh man.
I don't watch.
I don't but that's my point. That's my point. They don't give you nothing to watch.
Yeah,
they don't give you nothing to watch. They don't make it compelling.
Like,
It's stupid.
Like, I will be honest, since we're live, since this is streaming live, I'm gonna make this confession. I do not sit down for an entire 3 hours and watch Raw. I do not watch wrestling anymore. I really don't. Like, all my knowledge that I pass to you is from the past. Like, I will watch key points, you know, like as they happen. But since we live in a DVR age, you can rewind.
I just said that. I said I don't even watch these shows live anymore. I just go back and watch the DVR and just skip through the bullshit.
I honestly cannot think, show me one human being on the planet that sits down and watch Raw for 3 hours and give him a presidential medal of honor, because I cannot do it.
Well, my thing is, back in the day, the storylines would be so good that it forces you to watch the entire show.
Back in the day, The Rock could talk for 2 hours, and I would watch for a full 2 hours.
I would watch
more. Like real shit.
Exactly. Exactly. They don't book to make the users be engaged.
And you know what's sad is because it also, I hate to hold them accountable, it also falls on the commentary team, because JR could have you invoked in the most boring storyline ever by his emotion. But from what I've read, and I believe this, they tell the commentators what to say and how to react.
That's too micromanaged.
Which is why
Michael Cole comes off like that.
Yeah, which is why you cannot invest in the matches even if you wanted to. There's no emotion.
It's a difference between the Michael Cole of now to the Michael Cole of 04, 05. Yeah. How I used to commentate. Yes, you can clearly tell a difference.
Like back then on Smackdown, I could watch that, but like now,
yeah, you can tell Michael Cole is scripted. You can tell. Like, and even when you watch, he doesn't have any emotion in his calls it's because he's scripted.
Yeah,
like you said, JR. Even more Ronaldo was good. I was literally invested.
He was good.
He was good. Him and JR. If you have JR calling Raw and Ronaldo coming SmackDown, I can watch it. I can watch because you get the best commentators out there. And put Michael Cole on some type of backstage shit. Have them to just call the shows. I mean, JR could get me probably invested more into the current product of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah.
Easily. As bad as it is, JR is one person I know who I can get invested because his call's amazing.
Like, JR can get you invested in so much. Like, I go back on the WWE Network and I look at all the old Raws from like I've been watching 99. I was watching 01, 2000, all them. That commentary, like him and King. You can't top that.
They're the best WWE commentating team ever.
You can't top that. And it's just all that emotion and all that on-screen chemistry. You do not get there here.
Yeah.
Honestly, I like Corey Graves. I actually think he's really good. I didn't think he'd be good, but he's actually
He has personality,
good.
though.
Yeah, he actually has a good personality. It's just that.
Well, let's not get it twisted, though. It's not like we're saying that the Attitude Era was perfect. They've had segments and storylines that were trash too.
They had shit that was trash.
They was trash, but JR made it
and
good.
He made it up, and then the thing is, the main difference between this era and last era would be because you had stars back then. Like, you had people that was able to cross over to pop culture, and relate to the fans. Like, The Rock was the main one because he was the movie star.
Right.
He was the one that, he was probably arguably the best mic worker of the modern day. You know,
even to this day.
And then like when he left for Hollywood, and Stone Cold had to retire, that was it as far as like who could fully cross over into pop culture. Because with the exception of John Cena, nobody else has been able to do that. And
not to that magnitude.
And it is because the WWE does not let them get creative with their characters. It's because they micromanage them so much is that, you know, they don't let them get creative with their characters. You know, the promos are bland. You know, they shouldn't even make them have microphones because, you know, like, I can't believe what you're saying. Yep. Because I know this isn't you.
I agree. You can tell the promos are micromanaged and scripted for them. Like, they don't come off as authentic.
Yeah, it's just like I can tell this isn't you. I can just tell that like this is what they told you to say.
Although but the thing is, I don't think that's for everyone though. I don't think that's for everyone. I could like Kevin Owens to me, his promos come off as authentic.
Kevin Owens, yes, because Kevin Owens, I think he had previous work, you know, because he was in like Ring of Honor and stuff. So, you know, all those guys, they had like previous mic work, which is why Samoa Joe's good on the mic, you know.
Let me tell you who. Yeah, exactly. Samoa Joe is very good. Let me tell you who I think they don't have any like limitations to what they can say on the mic. I think Kevin Owens is one of them. I think AJ Styles is another one. I think, well, we all know John Cena. They give him creative freedom is what he can say. Yeah. I think the Miz though. I think they give the Miz freedom too, because the Miz comes off as a legit prick heel. And who else? Samoa Joe. We said. I think Paul Heyman comes off as unscripted. That's all Paul Heyman right there.
Yeah, Paul Heyman. He shoots.
He shoots 100%.
100%.
But my point is, why does that come off? You can tell the ones that are authentic and the ones that are scripted. Like, why don't they give that freedom to mostly everybody?
And honestly, I think it's like, you know, who it might have something to do like who they favored. It's like who's favored, possibly. Like, you know, if Roman Reigns had any mic skills, you know,
they would give him that type of freedom.
He would have that freedom too, you know. Honestly, like every former member of the Shield has, you know, kind of some sort of mic freedom that is not that polished.
Yeah, exactly. I agree. I think Seth Rollins comes off as authentic sometimes too, but even I've seen some of his promos where I felt like it was ultra scripted down.
Yeah.
But promos like Charlotte, especially Sasha Banks, Bailey. Oh, Bailey. Oh, she comes. You can tell she's scripted. Oh my God! Did you listen to some of the shit she says in her mouth sometimes?
No.
It's well, there you go. They don't get you invested enough to care. But Bailey comes off as ultra scripted. I'm like, and Charlotte, I mean, she talks as if like she has somebody whispering in her ear exactly what to fucking say out her mouth. Yeah. It's ridiculous. And that's one thing I know about the Attitude Era. They weren't pinned down like that, like they are now.
Oh, and you know, the Attitude Era, it was more of a free time. You know, we live in different times now.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but I mean,
we live in a TV 14 free time now.
Yeah, I get that, but you don't take away what's working. Yeah. You can still make it PG, and still give them a little bit of freedom to do. You know what I'm saying?
You know, honestly, and you can. It's just that, you know, I don't understand what's really holding them back.
I agree.
Yes, you know, I don't understand what's holding them
back. Vince McMahon is holding them back.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon as a businessman is not smart at all. Because like go back to what you said. They did the 3-hour show because they had Raw and SmackDown. Well, everybody was on one show. But why would you sign a deal with USA to agree to a 3-hour show if in the back of your mind you possibly knew you was going to do another draft?
And you know what the sad thing is because they have to make more work. They have to make more work putting into another hour.
And that might be why the booking is so bad.
Yeah, because, you know, you have to make 3 hours worth of booking for Raw, then another 2 hours for SmackDown. And
on top of that, they're making plans at the last minute. Yeah. You can tell some of their shows, like they came up with a segment probably a couple hours before the show airs. You can tell because it comes off as so like rushed. And I don't understand that. Like, if you knew you was going to do a WWE draft in the future, why would you sign off on a 3-hour show knowing that knowing that extra hour is going to be garbage?
What did I say? I think I said they fucked up something, so that's why they did this shakeup.
I wouldn't
forgot what it was.
I wouldn't even be surprised if the USA Network doesn't even renew the deal once that.
Oh yeah, because if those ratings keep tanking like that, they would.
Bro, it got a 1.7 something a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw.
That's the lowest ever.
Yeah,
ever.
That's something you would expect, like them getting back when they were losing the Monday Night Wars.
The Monday Night, exactly. Not when there's no competition.
There's no competition.
Exactly.
At all.
And, a 1.7.
1.7.
That's ridiculous. That's when they're used to getting high twos.
They getting like average now. They get like 2s, maybe 3s.
Well, I've only seen them get a 3 a few times when Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
When they announced Brock Lesnar coming the night after WrestleMania, they got a heavy 3 something.
Yeah. The night after WrestleMania,
always gets high ratings. But
it ain't never gonna be back like in the day when they got like 5 and 6s on a daily basis.
Oh please, that's never gonna happen.
That's long gone.
But 3 is still good. But they're not gonna get no 5 or 6. They were doing the things they were doing back then. They're not gonna do that now.
Yeah.
But that's my point. Is like if Triple H can oversee and understand what the product needs, why don't you just give Triple H more freedom? Obviously, what he's doing down at NXT is working. Look at the production, look at the booking, look at the storylines that they're doing down there.
Yeah,
they come to the main roster and they get shitted on.
Oh yeah, because
shitted on.
And Triple H and Stephanie are in line for when Vince decides to step down or die. Which...
the question is, when is he going? Is he ever going to step down?
Is he ever going to step down? Well, I remember him saying like a long time ago on Raw.
Long time ago, keyword.
That like the only way they'll ever get him out is the day he died. The man might live past 100, so.
And he would still be the chairman at 100. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Well, at that point, he'll be really out of touch with what's going on. But there might not be a WWE anymore if he lives to 100 and he's running the show. Obviously, Triple H knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. It's working. But my question has always been this: you have the blueprint to know what it takes to make a good show. Mm-hmm. You have the Attitude Era, even the Ruthless Aggression Era. You have the blueprint to know what makes good television. Why is it so difficult to emulate? Obviously, I know the PG-13 restrictions. You can't do everything.
Right.
But you have a blueprint to go off of. Why is it so hard to take bits and pieces that fit into the PG style and implement into today's wrestling? What's so difficult about that? It's like they book it's like the way they book the Attitude Era never existed. Yeah. They don't even watch the Attitude Era. They don't even know what happened. They just book blindly. Mm-hmm. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Yeah. You finally give Bray Wyatt the WWE title, and then you take it off him a month later and give it to a champion who did nothing with it. And then you take it off the champion that they gave it to a worthless champion now, in Jinder Mahal, who gets no buzz and he barely can wrestle.
It's really because like it all comes down to who books it, and because Vince is out of touch with reality. Most of his fans from the Attitude Era went on to become MMA fans and now watching nothing. It's like, WWE says they change with the times and
for the worse.
And not really. I would say they kind of do, but at the same time, it's like they really lost touch of how to get. It's like I think during like Cena's prime, they were mainly targeting women and children, which is why it was so bad during that time. I did not watch the WWE from like after WrestleMania 25 all the way up to The Rock came back. I did not watch.
I didn't either, man. I just got back into the shit from after 2008. From 2008 up until last year, I wasn't watching wrestling because
nobody did.
It was trash.
Yeah, nobody could. And you know what? And honestly, like when people like just say like nowadays you still watch wrestling, I'll be like, what pulled me back in was the nostalgia.
I agree. That's what got me
like
too.
The Rock pulled me back in. Like,
Yeah, and I wasn't even watching it when he came back.
Yeah,
because I knew he wasn't going to be there
it was
long.
Just like I watched him because like when he came back, I was excited, and then like the reality set in, he's not going to be there for long. And then when him and John Cena waited an entire year to fight,
was the build for
do it. And then like what I watched, like when he left and then when he came back again, I watched the CM Punk pipe bomb.
Yeah,
and I watched that for a little bit, and then I stopped watching again, and then watched like the night after WrestleMania when Brock Lesnar came back.
Yep.
Stopped watching again, and then I watched again when Punk and The Rock were face to face in the ring. So it was immediate. It really was. It was like intermediate. I did not watch like how I did prior to 2008. Prior to when they fully shifted over to PG, where I would watch.
That definitely had to be 2009 ish, because that's when I stopped watching.
When they stopped bleeding, when they stopped swearing, when they stopped doing the chair shots and the weapons, all the gimmick stuff that we grew up with. When they took that all away, they just took the heart out of it.
The problem I have is they can still, even with the restrictions that you just said, with the bleeding, the chair shots directed to the head, they can still put on compelling television with the storyline.
And I understand not the chair shots to the head anymore because of
concussions.
They completely blend that. If you bleed, that was legitimate blood.
Yeah.
Like I can understand. Honestly, The Rock brought the swearing back in. Like they're starting to swear more again because that was because of The Rock.
Yeah.
So
it took one of your former wrestlers to bring something back like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, my thing is WWE has no excuse, because even with the PG era, the PG limitations, that doesn't mean your storyline has to be so shit. I could watch wrestling if the storylines were good.
Our monkey could book a better shit.
We could book. Well, why aren't we booking this shit?
We could
off the top out here.
They pay me. I book this shit.
If they pay us, we could book this shit.
Definitely book this shit. I book this shit
because we can clearly see what they're doing wrong. Why don't they see it? Why don't they see it? But you know what the biggest problem is? The biggest problem is, yes, they may have been losing, their ratings may have been low, but their revenue has gone up. So if you think about it, if I'm a businessman and I'm seeing that my revenue has gone up, that basically is telling them that the product that we're putting out here is doing something good because we're making more money.
Yeah.
But in actuality, you're making more money, but your ratings are going down.
Yeah,
so what do you care about more? Obviously, they're gonna care about the money.
If anything, yes, you're selling merchandise and everything, but if you lose your TV deal, nobody's gonna have anything to watch.
Nobody's gonna have anything to watch.
If nobody has anything to watch,
they would have to put it on the WWE network.
Yeah. And then
they're really gonna lose out because you're not gonna gain that many subscribers.
If nobody buys tickets, then you don't make money.
You don't really make money.
If you don't make money, then you're not a billionaire anymore.
What the sad part about it? Honestly, it would take that to happen for them to put a better product on TV.
Yeah.
They would have to start losing money for them to put a better product.
The thing that would really have to make them put a better product would be another war.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's nobody that can compete with them. That's big enough. Honestly, New Japan, Ring of Honor. From what I hear, they have better wrestling matches, but they don't have the exposure enough to take on a WWE.
Yeah,
TNA was supposed to do that, but obviously we know that.
Of course, yeah, that was
Impact Wrestling, whatever the garbage is called now. So obviously they have nothing nobody to compete with. But even after WWE captured WCW, they were still putting on compelling television. So having no competitor is not an excuse, because when there was no main competitor in WCW, they were still putting on good television. So I don't understand. The storylines are absolute garbage.
Yeah, it's like what they the pretty much bottom line this whole thing. They pretty much believe that what they're putting out, because it's still making them money, they just figure
that's the wrong mindset.
Yeah, let's just keep going. But it's bad.
Exactly. That's the wrong mindset to have.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're making money, but you're making money off the casuals. The casuals see WWE as what it is. It's a casual thing to watch.
And then you try to bring in your nostalgia acts to try to, bring back your old fans. But like these guys that we watched as children are like in their 40s, 50s.
And yeah, and it's a different era.
The Rock is 45 years old.
They brought the Dudleys back last year and they do nothing with them.
My Undertaker is gone.
Yeah, he got pushed over by Roman Reigns in the Royal Rumble. This gets on off.
Like Kane is 50.
Yeah.
Big Show's pushing 50. It's.
Well, I don't even look at it just for the age necessarily. Just the fact that they're in a different era. This is a different era.
Yeah,
the things that they could do back then that made them over no longer works because of the restriction of the PG.
That's what I'm saying. Like when the New Age Outlaws came back, I was like, God damn.
Right.
Like, it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Oh my God.
It's not the same. Not the same. It all comes down to booking. You book. You don't like. Just for example, we went to Extreme Rules. Outside of the main event, what was extreme about the pay-per-view?
Not a damn thing.
Exactly. And even the main event match wasn't that extreme because all you had was a chair shot, and somebody got speared through the fucking barricade, and you had Seth Rollins frog splash somebody through a table.
Mm-hmm.
But there wasn't. I mean, besides that, what else was extreme with that card?
Nothing. I can't count the steel cage match.
You don't even count the steel. Exactly. So your one pay-per-view that it's supposed to be extreme wasn't even extreme. That's poor booking.
Yeah.
How can you hype up Extreme Rules and there's nothing extreme about it?
I don't know.
It's ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous how bad the booking is. Then on top of that, another bad booking decision. What was that pay-per-view? Payback. You have Randy Orton, who's a SmackDown champion, has to go on a Raw pay-per-view because your main champion only shows up whenever he wants to.
Yeah.
The Randy Orton, you see what I'm saying? It's just stupid.
Yeah.
And at first and here's the bad booking part. They initially announced Randy Orton to defend his title against Bray Wyatt at Payback. They didn't realize it makes no fucking sense because we all know that Randy Orton would win that match because the title couldn't switch over to SmackDown because it wouldn't make sense. So then they changed it to, okay, we're just going to make this a regular House of Horrors match.
Right.
This bad booking. Why is your SmackDown champion on a Raw pay-per-view? This is bad booking. The Superstar Shakeup, bad booking.
Yeah.
Look at the people that had success. You take them what made them good over to Raw, and they're not even factored as much as they were on SmackDown. The Miz. The Miz was great. Why did you move The Miz?
I just moved Dean Ambrose.
Listen to this. Not only did you move The Miz, but then you put him in the same fucking feud that he was on SmackDown. You're going to put him into a feud with Dean Ambrose as your first feud. Ridiculous. This is stupid. It's bad booking. It's bad. It's bad. It's no other way you can say it. It's bad.
That's pretty much it. It's just bad booking.
You take the title over Bray Wyatt. He only had it for what, a month and a half? Elimination Chamber. Loses at WrestleMania. For what? For what? The nigga has been waiting his whole career to win a title. That was his first championship, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. And then you take it off from him, what?
No, second.
You won what? Tag? What do you tag title? Okay. Yeah. But his first singles championship, I should say.
Yeah.
And then what you do, you take it off, you make him drop it to a guy who's already established. For what? For what? What is this?
We're gonna move on. Just bad booking.
Bad booking. It's stupid. It's so bad you can't even explain it. It's stupid. It's stupid.
It's the flagship show and it's bad booking, horrible booking. So,
well, if your flagship show is getting 1.7 ratings, that's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. How much of a flagship show is it if it's getting 1.7 ratings?
I don't know.
Ridiculous.
And they're approaching their 25th anniversary in January. So
I'm telling you right now, beware. I can see USA Network not renewing that deal.
I mean, you can't blame them if they don't.
So where would they go?
I mean, they.
What network is going to take them on?
They're not going back to Spike TV. That ended horribly.
So, well, what happened with that? That must have been time I stopped watching that shit. What happened?
No,
What?
You were still watching that. That was
what happened? Why did it end horribly though?
Because I think the negotiation renewal that was like way back then, but I guess it didn't go through correctly, so that's why they went back to USA. I forgot what happened, but
Yeah. I mean, they've been flip flopping networks a lot in their time frame.
I know SmackDown has SmackDown.
Oh God, man,
damn.
WB, CW, UPN.
My God,
man, how many?
I lost count with SmackDown.
Remember when we was middle school? It was on UPN, SmackDown, UPN, SmackDown.
And then like when UPN became the CW.
My TV something or My 24 some garbage.
It was on Sci-Fi at some point.
Yeah, Sci-Fi.
Which is basically when I started watching SmackDown. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, it was Sci-Fi, was it? The fuck? Ridiculous, dude.
Like, and then when they finally just like, we're just gonna put both of them on the USA Network, I was just like, thank God, because I forgot what channel it was.
I never understood why they weren't on the same channel to begin with. I always wanted to know why they did that. They always did like that.
Well, because what happened was Raw used to be pre-tape. They were pre-tape.
Raw or SmackDown?
Raw.
Really?
Before SmackDown became existent, Raw would always.
Before SmackDown, okay.
Mm-hmm. But then when they made SmackDown, they were just like, we'll make Raw live. And then they would tape SmackDown. So, why it wasn't on the same network, I guess, because I guess they wanted more national TV exposure, pretty much. So.
Well, okay. Because I always wondered that. Like, why was SmackDown on UPN and Raw was on Spike? And I never understood that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
well, we talked a lot here, so
I'm a neck.
Yeah. so all the viewers out there that tuned in, I appreciate it. I didn't know what to expect out of this, but we're gonna actually do more of these live streams. I actually like this better.
You like this better?
I do, because we can just talk about whatever. We don't have to be necessarily focused on one thing. We just talk about whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I like these streams, so thank everybody for tuning in. Renegade, although we need to get you more established.
Okay.
We need to get you more versed into other topics other than WWE, because you bring insight to a lot of other stuff. I actually have to mention something to you after we go off air about that.
Okay.
But yeah, so thank you guys for watching Retro Renegade. Back to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, but so thanks you guys for watching.
My channel's coming soon.
His channel's coming soon, even though YouTube is dead.
Yeah,
it's dead. And if it wasn't for the love of me making videos, I probably wouldn't be making videos anymore, because YouTube gives you no exposure unless you're a big channel.
Yeah.
If you're not an established channel already, there's not much room for growth. But I just like doing the shit. So
yeah, that's true.
I mean, I've been stuck on the same amount of subscribers for like the last year, practically. It goes up, it goes down. I don't even give a shit no more with this. I'm just thankful for the people that actually watch, that stay with this channel and still watch.
Yeah.
Because I used to get anywhere between 500 to 1,000 views a video. Now I can barely scratch 100. So it's crazy, but I mean, I just do it for the liking of making videos.
Oh yeah, if you're not an established channel, I can see that.
Yeah, if you aren't already a big channel, YouTube just says fuck you to the smaller channels. If you grow, if you go big when you're a small channel, you really have to grind seriously to get that, because YouTube isn't catering to those channels anymore.
No.
But anyway, we're out. Good night, everybody. We talked a lot here.
Yeah.
But we're gonna be back with the
Great Balls of Fire
pay-per-view in a couple of weeks. Probably do a live stream for that as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're out. Retro Renegade. Good night.
All right.